Grima Wormtongue is the perfect name for the waxy-skinned, greasy-haired counselor who poisoned the ear of King Theoden in The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Brad Dourif played the part perfectly as a slimy, despicable character who wormed his way into the inner circle of the king and then worked to undermine all that is good for his own sick, demented pleasure and to fulfill the wishes of his master, Saruman. Such advisors are attracted to power no matter when or where. So, whether we're talking about past or present administrations, we must realize American presidents have always been surrounded by advisors just like Grima Wormtongue. Though not always so visually obvious, they're there, and their influence is seen even with the ones we voted for. Have you ever noticed the Grima Wormtongue in the story of Absalom, Amnon, and Tamar? This was the palace of the king. It was a place filled with power. So naturally, devious advisors were drawn there like bees to blossoms. Amnon was David's firstborn son, 2 Samuel 3, verse 2. Therefore, he was the heir apparent. He was the prince, next in line to reign over Israel. Absalom was the third son, and as the story unfolds, we learn his real desire was to be king in place of Amnon. In the middle of this scheming power struggle, we find a Grima Wormtongue named Jonadab. When Amnon was sick with lust for his half-sister Tamar, it was their cousin Jonadab who came up with a scheme to get David to hand her to him. Jonadab was intent on pleasing the prince of Israel, and the text says he was a very shrewd man, 2 Samuel 13, verses 3 through 5. 2 years later, when Absalom got his revenge and murdered Amnon, the first report to reach the palace told King David that all his sons had been killed. However, Jonadab was there to comfort the king by confirming it was just one, Amnon, and that it was Absalom's plan ever since Amnon raped Tamar, 2 Samuel 13, verses 30 through 36. The text doesn't say whether or not he was involved in the planning with Absalom, but it was clear he knew exactly what Absalom was going to do and did nothing to stop it. That tells us that evil wears many faces and works against the good everywhere, not just among our enemies. Do we have the wisdom to recognize it and the courage to call it out for what it is? Or to be more accurate, do we have the wisdom and courage to identify the Grima Wormtongues among us, whomever and wherever they may be, so we can turn away and refuse to listen to their evil schemes? Thank you for watching today's Morning Minutes in the Bible. Until next time, this is James McClenny hoping you have a great day.